hour, and our witness has been here for more than 9 hours. I think in the interest of brevity. And as soon as the gentlelady finishes, I'll recognize the next member. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that courtesy.
Gentleman from California is recognized.
Well, Madam Secretary, I don't know how you're doing, but I'm exhausted. If we stay here much longer, you're going to have to take that 3M phone call from the committee room. In fact, your testimony has not only gone on longer than both of your prior testimonies to the House and Senate combined, but I don't know if pleased is the right word, but I'm able to inform you that your testimony now has gone on longer than all the other hearings that we have held combined. But in the interest of full disclosure, we haven't done very much. So we've only had 3 hearings in the last year and a half. But still, that's pretty impressive because some of those hearings were with multiple witnesses, and you have now outlasted all of them. But I do think you can tell when you're getting to the point of diminishing returns when you have members of the panel who are inventing testimony for you or imagining conversations you're having with your lawyer as well. As for your emails, I feel like channeling Bernie Sanders here tonight, but I'm no Larry David, and I know I wouldn't do it right. So instead, I'll tell you about the other person I agree with on your emails, and it's our chairman, who was asked on Fox News by Chris Wallace what your email use has to do with investigating what happened in Benghazi, and Chairman Gowdy's response was, well, probably not much of anything. As we, I hope wind up tonight, I want to just make one observation about your emails, because I think it's true of the investigation generally. For all the talk about your emails, what's interesting to me is not a member here, either on the news or in leaked form or whatever, has said anything about the content of your emails that add any insight to what we already know. So it's fascinating to me that for all of this talk, they have not pointed to a single thing in those emails of substance that alters our understanding of what happened in Benghazi, that alters the conclusions of those 7 or 8 other investigations. And what's true of your emails is true of this broader investigation, which is, here we are 17 months later, $4.5 million later, and we have nothing new to tell the American people. I have struggled to find something to ask you tonight that hasn't already been asked an infinite number of times, an infinite number of ways. And I'm not going to go through the exercise of searching for a question to be asked. Again, it's too late for that. But having, I guess, started by pondering what the core theory was of my colleagues, and I do appreciate at least one of them taking a stab at it, I do feel it's my responsibility now as I wind up to tell you what my theory of what's happening is. Speaker Boehner did not want to form this committee. He said so, not to me, but he said so on national TV. He said, what is to be gained by having yet another committee after all the other committees we've had investigate? What is to be gained by this? This is a bad idea. At some point, something changed the Speaker's mind. Now, I'm not in the room when the Speaker makes the decision to reverse course. In reading a profile of our chairman, he wasn't in the room either. He got a call from the Speaker when he was back in his district saying, I've decided to form a select committee. How would you like to be the chairman? I'll bet Mr. Chairman wishes he never got that call. So who was in the room? Well, Kevin McCarthy was in the room. There was nobody better situated to know why this committee was formed, why the Speaker changed his mind, than the Speaker's number 2, Kevin McCarthy. So with all due respect to our chairman who says, shut up, other members, you don't know what you're talking about, I'd have to say, actually, the one person who does know what he's talking about was Kevin McCarthy. So that's why I think we're here. And it would be one thing if it was that comment in isolation. It'd be another if we didn't have one of their own team, a GOP investigator who's going to vote for whoever the Republican nominee is. He tells us proudly, saying the same thing. but it's the way we've conducted ourselves that is the most compelling evidence that that's the only object here. I mean, I think we've seen amply tonight in the questions. There's very little interest in what actually happened. There's not much interest in how we can prevent it in the future, but there's a lot of interest in trying to score points against you tonight. Everybody, I think, on this side of the podium is hoping they're the one that does the gotcha that makes the news. Well, it's a terrible abuse of our responsibility and our power, and I think we'll rue the day that we did this. I have no questions, Madam Secretary, and I appreciate your patience, and I yield back.